Hey everyone, Peter Zine here, coming to you from Orlando again. I just wanted to take a couple of minutes to talk about what's going on in Germany. I've had a lot of people write in with some less than kind things to say about the Germans because they're not providing what is perceived to be the appropriate level of weapon support to the Ukrainians. There's a strategic reason for that, but I wanted to talk about the economic sacrifice that the Germans are making right now. Now, unlike the United States, which is relatively agnostic about where we get our industrial inputs, the Germans have to have a plan because they don't have any of it local. So what they do is they cut deals with the Russians to bring natural gas in at large volumes and reasonable prices. That provides not just the basis for their entire electricity sector, but also their entire manufacturing sector, because that natural gas is processed into petrochemical goods, which are then the basis of manufacturing. So if something happens to the natural gas flows, the entire German manufacturing model fails. Now, back on September 1, the Russians cut off supplies through the Nord Stream pipeline. Excuse me, getting over laryngitis. And told the Germans publicly that until you cease participating in the NATO coalition supporting Ukraine, and until you lift all sanctions, we're not turning this back on. This was 40% of their supply. And that meant that the Germans had to replace that 40% with marginal suppliers, and so natural gas prices in Germany have gone through the roof to the point that it's no longer economically viable to generate electricity or the petrochemicals that undergird their entire economic model. The Russians basically told the Germans, you can be modern and industrialized and neutral, or you can choose to be Western and lose everything. And the Germans went with option B. And now that Nord Stream has been blown up, there's no going back, even if we had a government shift in Germany and Russia today. So we are looking at nothing less than the complete collapse of the German manufacturing model in just the next year or two. So, could the Germans have done more with weapons? Maybe. But the sacrifice that they've chosen to make is higher than what anyone who is supporting Ukraine has done. Now, with the bombings that we had a couple of days ago in Kiev, the German consulate got hit by one of those missiles. And the Germans sat up, noticed that real quick, and have already delivered air defense systems to the Ukrainians. So now that the damage is done economically and they know exactly what's in front of them and what's at stake, I think we're going to see a lot more of this moving forward. So Germany may very soon be not just the country that is sacrificing the most, but one of the countries that is also donating the most. Okay, that's it from me. Until next time.